Welcome, everyone. My name is Eileen McElrath. I'm the elementary program director. And I'll let everyone else kind of introduce themselves and their role and why they're here, and then we'll get started with all the information.
I can go next. I'm David Nunez. I use he, him pronouns. I'm the head of school, and I like to attend all of these things. It's just one of my favorite things to do. I enjoy building community at Great River, so I'm just here to support.
And I'm Brent Cummins, outdoor summer camp director, and I use he, him pronouns. I go on both WIDJI trips and help plan them. I used to be on that side of things. I used to work at camps for 15 plus years. So it's fun to be on the school side of things.
And I'm Ricardo McCurley. I use he, him pronouns, and I am the development director at Great River.
All right. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Please do know this session is being recorded so that parents can all get that information, whether they are able to join us live or not. So a reminder of what we are about here at Great River School, that our mission at Great River is we are a Montessori learning community that prepares students for their unique roles as responsible and engaged citizens of the world. And just like Maria Montessori intended for Montessori education, our vision of world peace through Montessori education is a key part to who we are, and our key experiences are an essential component of our students' learning, which is why we're here today. So there are a couple different quotes that you'll see on the screen. I'm going to give you a moment to just choose one quote to read to yourself. As Maria Montessori said many things about nature and goings out. So take a minute and read one. So you might have noticed in your quote, or if you got to a second quote, the theme of nature and the child being in nature and experiencing nature as an important component of their learning experience, which is one of the reasons key experiences are so important to us at Great River. And they're an integral part not only to building our learning community together, but also giving all of our children the opportunity to go out and exist and be in nature in intentional ways and do it together. All right,
great.
Brent.
So I will talk about, what is a key experience. If you're new to Great River, you might not know that term. To me, it is definitely going outside, getting engulfed in nature, learning different experiences, and providing an opportunity for like memories that are unique, that are going to stick around. Like your time in class might not stick around as long as maybe you remember your week-long field trip to somewhere when you were a kid, and that's what we're aiming to do. So right now, every 7th through 12th grader is on a key experience because this WIDJI experience is kind of just the tip of the iceberg to help get students ready for what's coming next. So our 7th and 8th graders are up on the North Shore in northern Minnesota and exploring those areas on the Odyssey. Our 9th graders are at a farm in Wisconsin learning about all the makings of a farm and what goes into that. Our 10th graders are up the mouth of the Mississippi at Itasca, exploring that area. Our juniors, 11th graders, are going on college trips near the Driftless area, and our 12th graders are canoeing week-long trip down the Nemacolin. Is that right? I think so. Okay. So like I said, this might be your student's first year at Great River or first year attending a key experience. It kind of starts in 3rd grade now. We do a 2-night trip to Eagle Bluff. So, but this 4th to 6th grade is really about building community and connecting to nature. We really want to challenge the students and give them an opportunity to have some independence and also make memories. So, and doing it outdoors is a big key component. So who is going on this trip? Well, there are 2 different trips. All upper elementary classes will be going, so all 4th to 6th graders. and we'll be going 3 straight years now to WIDJI. It used to be we would one group would go to Wolf Ridge, one group would go to WIDJI, and we found the way Widjiwagan runs their program is really more succinct to the way we run our Montessori school. So they had a week open up last year. So last year was the first year that we had all the upper elementary students go, and I think we're going to continue with that because I think there's also something to being older, knowing what's coming, having some traditions grow from 4th to 5th to 6th. So I'm excited to see, especially the 4th years last year coming back in the 5th years. We'll also have lots of classroom guides, the assistants, EAs, and other support staff. I will be on the trips. I believe Alexis will be on both trips. Eileen will be on the second trip. So we'll have 12 to 15, maybe 16 adults on the trip with the students. Plus, Camp WIDJI staff will be there, obviously, and they have, I don't know, 10 to 12 staff of their own. So good numbers. If you're not familiar with where it is, it's very far north, right around Ely area, almost Boundary Waters, almost getting close to Canada. It's probably a 4.5-hour bus ride, but that is a view of the campus and the lake that we get to canoe on while we're there on the left. And we'll be taking charter buses, and we'll have an emergency van up there as well. So along the way, we do stop for lunch, kind of close to Duluth, because it is 4.5 hours. So often wonder what we do at WIDJI. We do lots of outdoor exploration. So there are 9 trail groups. Students are intermingled with kids from other classes in every trail group. We do that intentionally to help them get to know each other, whereas in the cabins, it might be a little more within their own classroom. But we do outdoor education every day, a 3-hour class in the morning, usually 3-hour in the afternoon. Some things that are very original to WIDJI is exploring their bog area, playing predator prey. That's a classic. We do a big hiking and cooking lunch in the forest on the last full day. So in 6th grade, last year we got to start the 6th grade sauna tradition. I recently got bad news from the staff that they did tear down the sauna and they're building a new one, but it won't be ready for our trip. So that's the bad news. But we are going to come up with something cool for 6th graders to have special memories anyway. And what's also very unique is that group of 9 will have the same leader the entire time they're at WIDJI. No other schools are there, which is another reason we liked being up there so much. It feels like it's our campus for that week. And they really get to know their group leader, kind of like summer camp, getting to know your counselor. So we really like that too.
Can I interrupt for just a second, Brent?
Yeah.
Just so everyone in the audience knows, all the links that are in the slideshow, you may not be able to click on them as part of the slideshow, but I am dropping them into the chat. So if you see a chat with a link, it's the link that's on the screen as Brent goes.
Yeah, you can check out a sample schedule. So where will we sleep? This is kind of a mini map of the campus. We'll sleep in their cabins. Cabins are fairly rustic up there. 2 of the cabins have bathrooms, but the rest do not. So there's oftentimes a small walk to the bathhouse in the middle of the night. And guides will create the groupings for the cabins. They work hard to make sure that kids have what they need in terms of support and being successful. They also can have some input, so they can always talk to a guide if they have any concerns or issues, maybe like gender creative students, trans, non-binary. If they're concerned about overnight accommodations, definitely talk to the guide and they can help figure out what's most comfortable for the students. So there will definitely be an adult in every cabin. Some cabins sleep 10 to 12, others sleep 16. So there is a little bit of variety, a lot of cabins. Most cabins will have 2. And I always put in here, if you're a light sleeper, you might want to bring some earplugs. If I'm real tired, I might start snoring. So what we eat, this is always, like, I've been to quite a few different places, and this place, WIDJI, gets the best reviews for food compared to like Wolf Ridge and Long Lake and Eagle Bluff. You know, they all do a good job, but everybody seems to like WIDJI food the best. So it's made from scratch, and they got everything dialed in, especially to serve all the dietary needs that come with a large group of people. So I think the next one is a little sample menu. These aren't set in stone, but they're fairly consistent. So like just kid-friendly food, spaghetti, always have cereal in the morning, like a little cereal bar. They have salad bars. And then, yeah, all these things are, like I said, made from scratch. The pizza on Thursday goes very fast. There's none left over on that day, I promise you. So helpful notes, WIDJI head chefs mentioned, you know, that, like I said, they're very good at making vegan diets, vegetarian, gluten-free, anything, everything, allergies, and they will always make it known before a meal and let you know what's available if something that in the main course doesn't work out for your student. No one goes hungry, I promise. There is an adult at every table to kind of help, just making sure everybody gets something to eat. We also do track our food waste, and that's a big deal up there. So they have a big chart, and we always talk about that at every meal. He did say lunches change a little bit from here and there, but basically that menu is pretty close to what we're going to be eating. So this packing list, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but main things to point out. Obviously, you need a sleeping bag and a pillow. I like to bring a little fitted sheet they're all bunk beds or just single beds without a top bunk. Making sure you have those things to be comfortable. Definitely check the weather out, but know that I think almost every trip I've been on, it has snowed a little bit in some way. Could be just flurries. Never had a really big snow yet, so I'm still waiting for that one. But do be prepared for that. Do bring, you know, rubber boots. Gonna get wet for sure. We're always in the creek. We're in the wetlands. Bring like 12 pairs of socks. Like that they'll go through those. Hopefully they'll change out of those socks at some point if you have that many. Raincoat, rain pants are very helpful. I find that if you don't have rain pants, then your raincoat only helps so much because then it just goes all onto your non-waterproof pants. But Camp Widjiwagan also has a really nice gear closet. So if something does get really wet, or maybe your boots aren't cutting it for you, they have tons of extra boots, tons of extra mittens, gloves, hats. We do canoe, so make sure they have some kind of gloves for their hands while canoeing because it can get a little chilly, just depending on the weather. Let's see what else is on there. This does say swimsuit for taking the sauna. If you're a sixth grader, might be worth still packing a swimsuit. It might be involved. We're not 100% sure yet what we're going to do, but we don't go to the camp store. That's not a thing, so you don't need to bring any money whatsoever. But obviously, flashlight, toiletries, toothbrush, toothpaste, books, sunglasses, all those things are important. This is the bigger one that I always spend more time talking about when I go to the classrooms. This week and next week, I'll be visiting all the classrooms to talk to the students, giving a similar presentation. Things not to bring: jewelry, valuables, weapons. You don't need to bring your own knife or lighters or anything like that. Hair dryers has always been on here. I don't think anyone's ever brought one, but we don't need any food, beverages, gum. If we do have food, they'll take the food from the get-go. Let's say you pack a lunch, you have food left in your lunch. They'll collect it all and keep it in the kitchen for us because we do not want critters visiting us in the cabins. Like I said, no need for money, and electronics is the big one. Leave your phone, your iPad, your iPod, your video games, all that stuff at home. Smartwatches, we don't need smartwatches. Even cameras, we still go with the old point and shoot cameras that you can buy. They still exist. So if you want your student to bring a camera, digital cameras break, they get wet, kids cry. So we try to keep it simple and unplugged. So forms, you should have gotten lots of forms, and the 3 that we're really looking for by next week, I believe, on the 24th, are your signatures on the WIDJI forms for sure. One is a health history one. One is kind of like a liability slash permission to transport, those type of things. Those are very important. Then we also have our own GRS key experience expectations. So just signing that, saying that you read over it with your student. So those need to be turned in as soon as possible. If you don't have those, you can reach out to your guide. I don't know if we have, I think the links were in the email that we sent out last week. So you can look for the links for those if you want to print your own. Two optional forms, but these are very important. If you have any type of medication, whether it's over the counter, prescription, these forms need to be filled out. So one form is just over the counter. We bring our own, like Great River School over the counter. It might include allergy, Benadryl, Tylenol, those type of things. So if you sign saying, yes, you can administer, like give my kid Tylenol if he needs it, it still needs a doctor's signature. Or if you have essential oils or anything that would be taking orally or used as a lotion or anything, all that needs to be on the over-the-counter medication form and needs to be signed by a doctor. It's our insurance policy. Don't get mad at us. So we're just crossing all our T's, dotting our I's. Want to make sure everybody stays healthy. And then if you do have prescription medications, obviously that will need to be signed by a doctor, but you also need to put that into a Ziploc with the appropriate dosage, and then we will record all that and give it to the guides. So the guides of the trips will be handing out all the medications for their students. And those forms, the medical ones, are due a little bit later, the Tuesday before your trip. So for the first trip, October 1st would be great. Sooner is even greater. And then October 15th for the second trip, because we had to take all those and sort them out. And it's a lot of work. And I like to give those to the guides ahead of time so they can kind of prepare and be ready for that. So again, I'm not going to read to everybody, but just behavior policies and expectations. My short blurb is, this is still school. So school expectations exist, although it's raised to another level because we are solely responsible for all these kids for 24 hours a day, 7 days or 5 days a week, I guess. So we expect students to help us out by helping take care of themselves and just following the simple respects that they go over once we get to WIDJI. So some things that if somebody, let's say, disappeared for a while because they're hiding behind a tree and they thought it was funny, we don't think that's very funny because obviously we need to know where everyone is at all times. So there might be a call made home just to say, hey, so-and-so was hiding behind a tree, kind of scared us. We would just want to let you know, but we also need to let you know that this can't keep happening. So we do give warning. We're not just going to be like, hey, they hid for 20 minutes behind a tree, come get them now. So know that I always lean on the era of calling, like when in doubt, call the parents, call the families. That's always been my kind of go-to working at camps and doing these trips. That same goes with injuries, some sicknesses like, throwing up once might just be nerves, might be I ate my chicken noodle soup too fast. So we might not call right away, but the second time there's probably a phone call. Oh, a high temperature is a phone call. We've unfortunately had to have kids get picked up on Wednesday or Thursday because of sickness or a very bad sprained ankle. So know that it's possible, but also we really go by no news is good news. So please read through the key experience expectation. The link is there. David's probably put it in the little chat. So then you should have also gotten a paper copy that you can sign and send back if you have not done that yet. I kind of covered most of this earlier. Just know that it really helps if you can get this done sooner than later. And we know that it's hard because doctors like to fax things. And even if you go into the office, they're not necessarily going to do it right away. So then you're not, I don't know if it got faxed. So you can always email Katie and ask. But please work on that if you need to get that done still. And I'm going to hand it over to Ricardo for this slide.
Thanks, Brent. Oh man. Hi everybody. I see some familiar names in the attendees. So for those of you who already know me, hello. It's good to see your name. I'm here to talk about the how we put this on from a financial perspective and the other supports that families can give us to make sure that we keep getting to do this. So one, when we talk about key experiences, this is a 10-year investment that we as a community are doing for our students. It is part of our curriculum. Every student goes on these key experiences in some form or another over the course of their 3rd grade through 12th grade time at Great River. Now, during that time, Great River spends on average $387 per student for these key experiences. It varies from year to year. The 3rd graders, the costs are a little less. The 11th and 12th graders, those trips can be a little bit less in that regard. The 7th and 8th graders, we spend over $750 per student for their key experiences. And why do we do this? Well, it's because we believe strongly that these experiences help in development. So what we're doing is creating both independence and interdependence for your students. Now, here's the catch. At other schools, something like this would be an optional trip. We don't believe in that. We believe that every student deserves this experience. And frankly, it is foundational in how we teach as a community. We use these key experiences as stepping stones for our work in the classroom with the students. So it is foundational. It is for everybody. And with that, we've made the commitment to pay for that. Now, if you can, donating $387 is a great way to support that effort. If you have extra money and can donate for a student and a family who doesn't have those means, then please do. We have a variety of ways to do that. The main one that I have highlighted is our Key Experience Giving campaign, and it can be found through our support page on the Great River website, as well as we're using a new platform called Giving Hive to track our fundraising. Right now, the last time I looked, actually I can look right now, we have raised over $15,000 so far towards a goal of $50,000 for our key experiences. Now, here's the thing. Maybe you're someone who doesn't want to give a lump sum. Maybe you want to spread it out. There are lots of options to give. You can also set it up through a monthly donation through our PayPal. We have it set up right here. $40 a month puts you at $480. Which puts you at a place that includes all the other services that Great River provides, like the school supply donation that people make at the beginning of the year. So when you think about supporting in a financial sense, this is one of a few components that you can add in. Now, maybe you're in a position where you can't support financially, and that's where volunteering comes into play. For each of these trips, we need people to support us in loading students in getting students off the buses, and we'll come to that. Actually, Eileen, can you switch to the next one? There we go. We have a sign up genius right here, because again, we know that for some of us it is easy to write a check, and for others it's easier to show up. So the sign up genius has a variety of options. You'll notice I've already signed up because I have a student going on this trip, and I'm really excited about supporting the load in. I don't know if they're going to be excited seeing me there, but I'm excited to help out. So if you can do both, great. If you can do one or the other, that's also fantastic. But know that this is part of building community and supporting our students in this endeavor. Did I miss anything? I'll hand it over to Eileen and or David or Brent.
Yeah, I just wanted to, with the Sign Up Genius, know that 4th to 6th grade doesn't have as much need for it as your student gets older. Things will change. Things like helping to pack food on a Sunday for those week-long trips, helping to clean tents when they come back wet and dirty. So this is just kind of a little warm-up as your kids get older.
If you do have a question, now that we move into the Q&A section, there is a button on the bottom of your screen, or there should be, that says Q&A, which is the easiest way. It's easier than the chat for us to sort of track questions and answers, opened answers and open questions and answered questions and all of that. So feel free, if you have a question at this time, to click on that Q&A button and to type in any questions you might have.
Yeah, and I answered one already. Said, do medications need to be turned in with the signed forms? Or we turn the forms in, should we hold on to the meds until the trip? I said, if you have the meds to give, you know, if they're ready to go ahead and turn them in. So it's just a one-time deal and you're done. Because Katie will organize them into class bins. So Shingabi will have their own bin. So she can just put it in there and then we'll know it's there. Good question.
And Katie is our school nurse. Excuse me, for those who don't know.
Yes, sorry. Maybe we were just really, really clear.
Yeah.
If you do have more questions, you can always feel free to reach out to your guides. They are used to having these conversations, and now you've seen a lot of the slides that Brent will be sharing over the next week for those who are going soon, and the next couple weeks for those on the second trip as well. So you can tell your child you saw the number of socks that were supposed to be sent. All right. If there are aren't any other questions, we'll wrap it up for tonight. Thank you so much for being here and joining us to learn more about the Key experience. And we're excited to support all of your children on their first or returning trip to WIDJI this year.
Oh, I see we've got one question that came in.
I was too fast.
I can answer that one. So bringing your kids to school, I think we typically do like 10 minutes earlier. So we usually let them come earlier, 10 to 15 minutes. And that would just be mostly to unpack, like get things out of your car, put them in the right spot, and then they just kind of hang out outside during that time until the flag goes up. So if you want to do like a wave goodbye, that's a good thing to sign up to load the buses, because those people that sign up for that get to wave goodbye to the bus.
A tip I have often given, and guys will often send home, because this might be your child's first time away, is you can always write letters to your child. I know with my own 4th grader, when they went last year in 4th grade, they're now in 5th grade, I just wrote a really simple note or a letter, nothing big. And I was like, you have these? It just says day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4. And if they felt like they missed home or were sad, they could open that. And they actually kept them and still have them, which means a lot for a 5th grade boy. And so that's one nice way to stay connected to your child, and also just give them that safety piece of like, hey, you can still have a message from your parent while you're away.
Yeah, and you can turn those in the day we leave. We'll have a little table with folders for each classroom or cabin. And then you could also just drop them off to Jennifer at the front desk or...
And our guides will give those to your child, or depending on where your child is at, they can hold on to them themselves and open one each day. So whatever works best.
But don't try to smuggle in candy or toys.
No. Well, and the student tip that was going around this week was make sure you can carry your own bag, because you will need to carry your own bag. And so, you know, pack it all the way up. It will take longer than you think, and have them walk around with it a little bit, because they do need to take their own bag up to their cabin. So just kind of a pro tip from the students. All right, any other questions? All right, we will wrap it up. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and we're excited to take your children up into nature soon.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye, everybody. Thanks.